we're going to head down to Arizona and hit up the Cardinals. So Cliff Kingsbury, I think we can all say, is not the best coach in the NFL. It's a little nerve-wracking to say the least. But I'll give you the brief overview of the team. So Kyler Murray is on top of this team. He is still a premier, probably top 5 quarterback for the first half of the season. I'm sorry. That's
I love how you had to like pause there too. Like, well, I'm serious.
Yeah, he's a top 5 quarterback for half of the season, and then the second half of the season happens. I don't. It's inexplainable what happens to this dude halfway through the years. It's happened every year he's been in the NFL. It can be maybe he's tired, maybe the team around him gives up. But like last year, they gave him Zach Ertz halfway through the season, and there was a couple good weeks with Ertz. Ertz wasn't the problem.
He's just so whittle.
Yeah, it's just that's what it is.
Problem is he's good the first half of the season, but he doesn't have Hopkins for the first 6 games of the season. So this is a
delicate.
So yeah, going to turn into a pumpkin halfway through.
To move to the wide receiver room. So they brought in Marquis Brown. They traded away their first round pick and brought in Marquis Brown. Now, as you all know, I'm an Oklahoma fan. Kyler Murray and Marquis Brown are really good friends. So if I had to guess how this is going to shape up, Marquis Brown's value is way too low at his current ADP. These guys are friends on and off. They play Xbox together on Twitch a lot. Like they play Call of Duty, they play Madden, they play a bunch of video games, and they are very well connected. They have that connection, and so there's nothing really to be concerned about in taking Marquis Brown a little bit higher than you normally would, because they like each other. Like you said, DeAndre Hopkins is going to be out for 6 games. So taking him is kind of one of those, if you already have a really good team going, maybe you add him in at the end. But he's someone maybe you shouldn't jump for if you don't have a good team, because 6 games in a fantasy football season is damn near half of it. Like,
yeah, you're also, if his ADP stays true, which it won't, it'll probably be drafted higher, but you're getting him in like the end of the 7th, early 8th round at the moment, 81. Right. So, I mean,
like I said, if you have a good team and you draft a good wide receivers, he's a good one to add on there. But if not, a little concern there.
Marquis Brown going behind Cortland Sutton, DK Metcalf, and Mike Williams right now. You taking him over those guys?
Maybe not DK, but the other two.
No.
I think I could make a case for him to go over the other two.
I think I would too. The only concern is what happens when Hopkins comes back, because his production is going to fall off a cliff there.
It's true. And that leads to the other player on this wide receiver core that's going to be relevant for a little while, and that's AJ Green. He had a very up and down year last year. He put in a lot of yards, not a lot of touchdowns to show for it. But while DeAndre Hopkins is out, AJ Green will probably be relevant. When he comes back, he probably will not anymore. And I think once he comes back, now here's the problem. Kyler Murray falls off about the time, a couple of games after DeAndre Hopkins comes back. So what does that mean for this offense? I don't know. It's kind of tough to say. Are you getting the best weeks of the season from AJ Green at the beginning anyway? Like, would that make him more valuable? I'm not sure.
Not bad in best ball.
Best ball is a good spot to have him in.
Honestly, this is the type of team that I want on my best, or these type of players from this team are the type of players I want on my best ball team. So
AJ Green's going between Donovan Peoples-Jones and KJ Osborne right now. So.
Yeah, that's free. I mean, at that point, you're adding your 4th, 5th wide receiver, and if he starts hitting that first week, throw him in the second week. I mean,
he's free. Okay, and then our last guy is Joe's guy, Rondale Moore.
Love him.
He did not get used how we thought he was going to be used last year, but Arizona decided to get rid of Chase Edmonds. I think that makes things very interesting for Rondale Moore. I think that is a total spot Cliff Kingsbury could scheme up Rondale Moore to take some of those passes out of the backfield, because the running backs are James Conner, Darrell Williams, and Eno Benjamin, all of whom are proficient at catching the ball. But if you have a player like Rondale Moore on your team, I think we go ahead and use Rondale Moore instead of one of the running backs in that spot. So could be some value there. I don't think I would be drafting him onto my team, but he's somebody that late if you want to add somebody that's a spec ad that could be, boom or bust, I think Rondale Moore fits that.
I think he's pretty much irrelevant until one of the wide receivers gets injured or something.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
He'll be on the field.
AJ Green's value is already so low at that point, so might as well get him.
That's true.
Yeah, Rondale Moore is just, when he gets the ball in his hands, it is ridiculous. I mean, the Chase Edmonds role, that makes a ton of sense. And if, he could land 4 or 5 catches a game there, I think he could actually make some pretty good noise. Another guy that might bump into that is Keontae Ingram, who kind of plays a similar game to what Rondale Moore does, but is more of your prototypical running back. But no, I love Rondale Moore. People have absolutely given up on him in Dynasty, it seems. So he's a good buy low.
Yeah, in Dynasty, I love grabbing a guy like that, but in redraft, I just don't. I mean, keep an eye on him. Make sure he's on your watch list. If anything does happen, you're gonna want him. And Bill, I'm gonna steal your thunder here because I'm gonna talk about my boy Zach Ertz.
Yeah, go for it. Tight ends was next.
So this man is one of the most undervalued tight ends on the board, and if you're getting him at tight end 9 or 10 where he's going, you are gonna have a good time. Ended up as PPR's top 5 tight end last year, and that was with the Jalen Hurts experiment for about half the year. Man had 112 targets. A lot of those were some inaccurate ones from Jalen Hurts, but then Kyler just peppered him with targets at the end, pretty much averaging like 7 or 8 targets a game. I think he is actually going to be the biggest fill-in for DeAndre Hopkins while he's gone. I think you're going to get 6 for phenomenal weeks, and then you're going to get your nice like tight end 5, tight end 6 once Hopkins gets back. I think he could potentially win you some championships here because I hate buying tight ends early, but this is the guy that like I always have like one person in mind every year, like at the bottom 10 or in the bottom top 5 or top 10 of the tight ends that I'm going for. And Zach Ertz is that guy this year, like 100%. He literally had one bad year and everyone goes, oh, he's not a top 3 tight end anymore. Even though the 4 years prior, he was 4, 2, 3, and 6. Had one bad year when the Eagles had a bad year because we had nobody to play. So quit that. Zach Ertz is one of the best tight ends in the league.
Yeah. And as far as Dynasty goes, as far as tight ends, Trey McBride is an amazing pickup in most Dynasty leagues. Zach Ertz is, I think, 34 or 35, so he's probably not got a long...
31, man. Calm down.
31?
He's my age, bro.
Wow,
calm down.
A lot younger than I thought. Well, maybe
34, 35.
Well, I thought he was up there. I thought he's been, in the league a long time. Well, anywho, Trey McBride is an amazing pass-catching tight end who is going to be behind him. I don't really see his path to the field this year. I mean, I guess it could happen. I would love to see what a 2 tight end set from a Cliff Kingsbury offense looks like, but I don't think it's going to happen this year. But in the future,
Hopkins is out.
Exactly, and that's the whole thing. Is like I don't know what we're going to see because Trey McBride is he used to be a basketball player. He's one of those guys where he is only pretty much a premier pass catching tight end. It's a very interesting idea that they picked him this year with Zach Ertz on the roster still, but we'll see what he can do. I don't think that it'll be this year, but in the future, he's learning from one of the best tight ends in the NFL. So I think that Trey McBride's got a good future ahead of him.
Yeah, he's got 2 more years on his deal too. So he's
So it's very interesting. We'll have to talk about that next offseason. Maybe that's a potential cut candidate. But don't know. We'll see when we get there what this team even looks like. If they even have Kyler Murray. He has not signed a deal, by the way. So he is set to be a free agent next season. Let's quickly hit on the running backs. James Conner, I think we can all say is a top 10 running back.
I love it.
I don't really like it, but
I don't love it either. But the touchdowns that he was able to put up last year were no joke.
I mean, if you think about with Hopkins not being there, if they run more 12 personnel and just stack that lineup and give Conner the ball, I don't see a reason why he can't at least get close to what he did last year.
I think the only thing that gets me here, and I'd probably put him just outside the top 10, is he had 750 yards on 200 carries. He didn't get the yards. Yes, he got 18 touchdowns total, but that's not going to happen again this year. There's going to be regression in those touchdowns.
There definitely will. But I think going into the season, it's hard not to like him to maybe not improve the numbers touchdown-wise, but maybe yardage-wise. I assume Kyler Murray here's my conspiracy corner. Kyler Murray, I don't think if he doesn't have a deal on the table is going to run as much as maybe he's asked to run this season because why the hell is he going to risk hurting himself this year when he has a massive deal coming next season with potentially a new team or with the Cardinals? So until there's a deal on the table signed by the Cardinals for him in long-term extension, I don't think Kyler Murray's going to run enough this season. And I don't think Cliff Kingsbury is going to get as much running out of him as he would like. It's going to be very interesting to see how that works this year.
I think James Conner is like the new school Brandon Jacobs. He was never a huge yards guy, but he would rack up the touchdowns when needed. So he's not flashy, man, but he's going to put up the points for you.
I gotta put James Conner more in the 15 range. There's a lot of guys out there that can do it. I will not say he's a top 10 running back.
I can see that. The only thing I'll give Conner though over some of those guys is he's not splitting workload with anybody. So
it is true. There's not much there, but
he's top 13.
Yeah,
13, they got him right behind Saquon and Fournette's in front of Saquon. So I would say probably him and Fournette are similar in their production this year.
We said top 10, and I just couldn't take him over Swift. And Swift, I think, is right about 10. So it's going to be
Swift's
tough for me.
such a value always.
That's a good point. Yeah. Swift would be over him. Okay. Josh, do you want to tackle the defense? Maybe
tackle the defense. Oh, boy. Sure, man. I could do that. So we got JJ Watt, who is still a good player, but you're not getting the fantasy out of it. Someone's going to draft him way too early. Don't be that guy, please. Marcus Golden's really going to be your like defensive tackle you're going to want, or defensive end you're going to want. I know he's technically kind of like an outside linebacker. Golden has had some pretty good years, and I think him and JJ Watt can have a good time. This defense is going to be a little less explosive as it has been in the past. I feel like we're still waiting on Isaiah Simmons. I think he had a better year last year, but it still wasn't what he lived up to. Basically, what they were expecting 2 years ago was Micah Parsons, and the Cowboys got him. So that didn't work for them. But Zaven Collins was a phenomenal draft pick right after him. And Collins came in as a rookie and showed that he's worth the money. So Collins is where you're going to get your value from linebacker. I'm not against grabbing Isaiah Simmons. I feel like he's probably going too high just because of his namesake alone, though. And then one guy who I found last year, I'll be honest, I had no idea. Jalen Thompson is one of the best safeties in the league. At least fantasy wise. I can't say about actual, PFF rankings and whatnot, but Jalen Thompson had pretty much 9 tackles per game. And I think that was because of the lack of tackles by the line and linebackers. With JJ Watt out, left a little hole there. So this defense isn't great, but it does have fantasy stars. They do have Budda Baker. Obviously, we know who he is, but he's kind of like that Tyrann Mathieu where he has his good games. And then, that was really rude to Budda Baker. Budda Baker's one of the best safeties in the league.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
I was about to say
no. I'm sorry, but what I'm saying is it's one of those guys who he has a really huge week, and so like basically he'll have like a 30-point week one week, and then he'll have like an 8 or something. So like just don't expect that every time. Like when you see the numbers at the end of the year, it looks a lot higher. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry.
Okay. I like that clarification.
The corners, I can't even see your face, but I assume it was just like jaw dropping.
Well, I was like, what are we going here?
Well, anyway, the corners are good, not great. Byron Murphy's my guy, great nickel corner. Antonio Hamilton and Marco Wilson. I don't even know who those guys are. So I'm going to be honest with you. This secondary is going to get burned by a lot of teams, and unfortunately, they're in a division with a lot of good wide receivers. So it's going to be tough for them. Yeah. But Budda and Jalen Thompson will sweep up all those tackles that the corners can't tackle. So get the safeties, get your linebackers, and you want to go grab JJ Watt? Sure, man. I mean, he might have a good rodeo last year or something, but the injury's there, and someone's probably going to draft him too high, in my opinion.
Yeah. There's only 2 guys on the defense that I'd keep an eye out is Nick Vigil. He was just drafted in a dynasty league we were in. And it's true. He always figures out a way into the starting lineup. So if Isaiah Simmons falters or Zaven falters, I could see him being plugged right in there. And Myjai Sanders out of Cincinnati was drafted with the 100th pick. You know, he's going to slot right in there and be a really effective edge rusher. He is very quick. And especially with JJ Watt's power on the other side, I could see him stepping in as a rookie and actually making some noise. So look for those guys. Late picks, nothing crazy.
Myjai, I like that guy. I will say, I think that if this year doesn't go well for Budda Baker, we need to protest for him to change his number back from 3 back into the 30s. So this last year, when he changed his number to 3, was the first year since his rookie season that he did not get to 100 tackles. It's the number change. That's what it was. It's affecting his body. There's some kind of weight with the stitching. I don't know. It's affected him in some way for Budda Baker not to get to 100 tackles. And I say that if he doesn't get it this year, it's time to switch back, Budda Baker.
He played every game last year too, so it wasn't due to injury.
Exactly. It's the number.
Throwing off that equilibrium.
I thought it was wild that players that had already established numbers and that they changed to the single numbers or something. Like if you're getting traded, sure. If you're on a new team, sure. If you've been there, if you're not that great of a player or you haven't really established yourself, sure. But like the people have bought your jersey and you're going to change the number. It's just kind of inconsiderate, honestly.
You're just gambling with the gods of football. Like you're just testing them by doing
gods
stuff
and
like
odds.
that. But okay, well, I think that's enough Cardinals talk. It
was fun.
8.5.
8.5.
8.5.
I'm going to hear the schedule.
I gotta hear the schedule as well. Also, just
second half is going to be important.
Just a heads up, this offensive line is ranked 25th right now.
Woof.
Yeah,
it's not ideal.
And you all wonder why Kyler Murray wants to protect himself this year. Not you two, but like the community at large. Like,
you think they could get Kyler Murray some of those drywall stilts that the guys use?
That probably.
Like
if they signed him to a deal,
stuff.
I'm sure he would wear those stilts during the game.
You know, they need to do is
get those fused to his feet and really be pretty effective there.
If they keep Kyler, they need to sign every offensive lineman they sign needs to be short, like just not 6'5" guys. Can't do
just
that.
Everyone Cole Strange.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Exactly. Okay. Anyway, let's hear some schedule, Joe.
All right. So starting off, we got the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Rams, the Panthers, the Eagles, the Seahawks, the Saints, the Vikings, the Seahawks, the Rams, the 49ers, the Chargers, the Patriots, the Broncos, the Buccaneers, the Falcons, and the 49ers. I'm going under.
Under.
Good
God.
I like kind of blacked out in the beginning there. I'm actually pulling it up myself because I was like,
I saw 0-5. I heard like 0-5 and then the Seahawks, and I was like, whoa.
I think they could beat the Raiders week 2, but Chiefs, Raiders, Rams, you got Panthers, then you got the Eagles, Seahawks, Saints. I could see it. There's some
Cliff's
teams
gone.
Getting to
Cliff
9
is
wins.
gone.
Yeah, it's just the problem is you're going to start off real shitty right off the bat with the Chiefs.
And then Kyler's second half of the year is Kyler Murray's second half of the year. So
yeah. There's some beatable teams in here though. Like obviously the Seahawks anyone can beat. I'm gonna throw that out there. The Saints are one of those question mark teams. The Panthers are one of those question mark teams. The Raiders, I think, are probably a little higher that they could win that game. And then you got Patriots, Broncos.
With this
Broncos.
defense,
I think the Cardinals are about
4
the Patriots. I think the Cardinals and the Patriots are about even.
Man,
That's an even team.
It's
They're
like
going to struggle to get to 4.
I think the problem with them is they go
4?
good team, okay team, good team, bad team, good team, okay team. So they're really never going to get any consistency. Like I don't think they'll ever like win a streak of games. It's going to be win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. So that 8.5 is actually really smart by Vegas. Once again, it's like almost like they do this for a living.